The son becomes the father, the father the son. This is all I can send you, Kal-El. It's not who I am underneath that defines me, but what I do. You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Just because someone stumbles and loses their path doesn't mean they're lost forever. You're making me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I let my father die because I trusted him. Because he was convinced that I had to wait. That the world was not ready. What do you think? With great power comes great responsibility. We are Groot. We are Groot. We are Groot. We are Groot. We're Groot. We're Groot. We're Groot. I'm with you till the end of the line. Tell me, do you believe? You will. Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. And what are you? Genius. Billionaire. Playboy. Philanthropist. I am Batman. I could do this all day. Kill any god. None of you seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. If you're nothing without suit, then you shouldn't have it. It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. And I am Iron Man. Fourth wall break inside the fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls. I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest. I would say that's morality. Moral law.
That's right. Apologies. Let's see, I know what I did. Didn't put myself to the screen. Here we go. Welcome, everyone, to Plungecast. This is another episode number 677 episode. Welcome to episode number 7 of Comics and Ramblings with Ari. Well, Comics and Ramblings. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it when you guys hang out with, just hearing me talk, because, it's weird just one person talking. I kind of enjoy that when I'm listening to other people, but when you see yourself or hear yourself, it's just kind of weird. But it's kind of what journalism's about, right? Commentary and stuff. So I enjoy other people giving their commentary, so I'm here giving you my commentary. I've got a mixed bag of stuff. I've got a list of what we're going to be talking about, from comics to TV shows, and I'm actually going to do my first reaction video to an interview that was then clipped, and then then that was placed. I'll talk about that more when we get to it. And I'm going to talk about race swapped Constantine that I am so glad didn't happen, even though they've ruined my character, my beloved Constantine, so many times. But as you know, there's a Keanu Reeves movie coming out. I'm excited about that. Man, I saw it at the theater when it came out back in 2000-ish. I had the poster. I had the freaking movie poster, the amazing silver, big, huge gun he had. And I'm going to show you the big gun I've got for one of my characters that's coming up in Robot Nation, that I basically asked Francisco, who's the artist of Robot Nation, to draw it for me. And I was, it was really because I wanted to base it on an actual physical item that's readily available around the world, that hopefully probably 90% of the world, right? But then if you wanted to cosplay this character, you could actually cosplay these characters. I'm using the same gun, big huge friggin' cannon thing, on another story that's called Trenton and Partners, Bounty Hunters and Robot Retrievals. That's the name of that story when it comes out. I think it's going to be like a 60-page to a 90-page standalone story. I'm looking at putting the first part of that story, or not first part, but a short story of that in Robot Nation in a future release. But today, of course, we're going to be talking about Robot Nation a lot. I'm going to show you some artwork and stuff, because I learned from last time, like in July, August, when we did the Indie Incredible Kickstarter for the print version of that, which is at the printers right now, right? Publishers got it, sending off the printers, getting it ready, because it's got to be in the hands of people in February, right? All you amazing backers, I applaud you and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. And so while that's going on, I'm going to be putting out Robot Nation as a let me just get this file up, as a digital release first. Now, what does that mean, right? What's a digital release first? Well, it's basically like having testing the market, right? Seeing how much effort I need to put behind it when we go to print, how much financial, like, because a lot of times when you're doing this, you got to figure out how much advertising, you got to do paid advertising and stuff. I learned a lot from the Kickstarter for Incredible, right? Because it I had so many people come to us, right? So quickly, like as soon as it was out there, as soon as promotions were getting out there, people were like in my DMs, something that what's happens every now and then, but not to this scale, right? I felt like all of a sudden these people I didn't even know were showing up and going, hey, I can help with this. We can help with this. Hook me up on Fiverr, drop me $15 or something, or drop me $10, and I'll be able to help you out here. And I'm like, maybe, okay, because I'm new to this game. So I'm like, okay, okay, let's give it a go. So we spent something in about 45 $5 US, which is coming to like about 60, 70, $80 New Zealand, right? No, actually, yeah, it's about $70 New Zealand almost, right? Which is like about 7 comic books. So you got to, like, when you're doing these things, you got to, you got to figure out what the costings are. So I was like, we'll give it a go, right? We'll try 2 people. Let's see what happens. We did 1 person that was, oh, let's try again. And we learned out that is not the way to do it. Like, and the weird thing was, after I had done it, then someone manages just don't do that. It's not really worth it. It's just people that you don't even know what you're going to get. There's no, you probably get some record of it, but they're really, people that are actually doing that, they're not actually comic book people, right? Their audience might not even be comic book audience, right? So I'm like, okay, well, all right, fine. I did that. Okay. It is what it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something different. I'm going to do it a bit different in the sense that I will get out here before you guys ahead of time. I'll promote the comic. I'll show you what I'm doing ahead of time. So I've been, for the last month or so, putting up across Facebook, across my own page, across Instagram, across the Plunge Instagram page, across Twitter, across YouTube, putting in the posts and stuff, just trying to update and get as much interest in this book as possible ahead of time, so that when I actually put it there's people know what's coming, right? People are aware that this is where we're going to go. So Fund My Comics is something new to me, right? It's something that I've never used before, but because I had talked to, let me get this page up. Because I had, I actually talked to the gentleman who's running Fund My Comics, right? So I'm like, there. Oh gosh, hold on. Now, by the way, guys, always forget this. I want to hear from you. It's something that I forget to do all the time. I want to hear from you about what we talk about. Like last week, I remember on Twitter, I should put a note in front of me on this desk, on this, bookshelf in front of me, and go, hey, reminder, please leave a like or comment, like or subscribe, but definitely leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. I enjoy talking to you guys in chat. I like responding right away to it. If you see this, it's because I'm trying to not go into another go to that comment right away, because I'm acknowledging you. It's because if I don't carry on, I'll forget. And I have this trouble where, my memory is not the best. And because I had about 6, 7, 8 head injuries over my lifetime, and even since I was a little kid, right? So it affects me remembering things. And if I get, sometimes if I'm talking and something pops up, I forget, right? If I concentrate on something. So I'm trying to, if I give you a thumbs up, that means I got your comment. I'll get back to it later. But please do comment, do jump in on chat. Let me know what you guys think, because at the end of the day, I'm doing this because I want to interact with you. I don't want to just put these videos out without anybody, giving me feedback. I want to grow as a commentator. I want to grow as a podcaster. I want to get better at what I do as a comic book writer, as a editor. Everything really. I turned 50 this year. That doesn't mean that I've learned everything. I've freaking got a lot more I want to learn. Right now, I'm learning to play bass. Right. So please do comment, do respond. I enjoy that. I think it's great to get feedback from people. It's what makes us grow. What makes us learn. I comment on other people's videos all the time because whether I find it interesting or not, or if I do, leave a really, hopefully a good comment. But right, so back to Fund My Comics, right? So Fund My Comics, I talked to Luke Luke from Fun My Comics, and I want to give me 1 second. I want to I'll give you a link for that in a minute, and I'll put it in chat so you guys can check it out. Now, let me just find that for you. I wasn't thinking about bringing that up, but hey, while we're talking, why not, right? So Luke Stone is person, who came up with the idea to do this, and we did a really cool 2 hour, 2 hour interview with them. As you guys know, I do these interview videos with people that I find interesting, people that I hope you find interesting, right? So that was like the sixth, the sixth episode of Fun Comic, I was going to say, but of Plunge Pop. Now, Plunge Pop, of course, is there you go. It's in the chat, so you guys can check it out. But Luke Stone, he's the guy who put this together and got it organized and all that. But Plunge Pop, of course, is where I interview people that I find interesting on the internet. I find people whose jobs are interesting in the pop culture entertainment scene, right? So I interviewed, thanks to Nita Lanning, right, from Indie Comics, I think Indie Comics Connection. I'll find that out soon as well. But like Indie Comics Network, that's what they're called. So Indie Comics Network is an amazing, I'm friends with, I guess, internet friends with them. I guess, that's what you call, like, I don't know any of them physically or in IRL, right? But through Facebook, I was able to connect with some of these guys, and Nita Lanning, was talking about Find My Comics, and then so I said, who's in, she said, who's in charge, whatever, and I said Luke Stone, and I said, okay, well, we'd love to talk to him, because gave me the name, and boom, so I had Luke on, right? Who's that? And so check out Find My Comics. Like, he's an artist, writer, and owner of Find My Comics, but he also owns his own studio, right? Right. So why digital first, right? Why go digital first with that? As I mentioned, it's about cost, right? Right at the start, I wanted to get an idea of how much stuff we could put out. Like, I've got ideas of for the when we do the variant, when we do the Robot Nations volume 1, number 1 print next year, I'll have an idea of what people are after, right? I'll have an idea of what I can do. I'll be able to have some money to pay for maybe a couple variant covers from some artists that I like, or by actually putting these PDFs out first as a digital release. Like, for myself, I read a lot of digital comics now. I don't buy any more physical comics, because I just don't have the patience to get out and take it off my shelf and start reading them. Although, right, I've got so much friggin' comics and graphic novels up there, I still, if I'm busy, if I'm out there, sitting down, got a moment while I'm out and about, I'm going to turn to my, to my mobile, and I'm going to read my, comic that I want to read, that I have on my mobile. So I thought, why not try that? So I'm trying a different thing with this whole comic completely with Robot Nations, right? So with Robot Nations, you're going to get not only is it going to be digital, it's a black and white comic, right? It's and that also means it's going to be printed in black, not only in black and white, it's going to come out in print as black and white as well. So we're not going to do any colors in this. I had thought about it. Probably maybe later when we collect all the series, all the floppies that we do probably in a year or two, maybe we'll get that colored. But I still think the comic looks so good without color. And so every time I thought about it, I thought, let's do it on black and white. Let's do it on black and white. The artwork is so cool. As you can see, it's an amazing looking comic, right? And the artwork is just brilliant. The artist on this has worked on so many different projects and with so many different companies, right? Independent companies and stuff. So I felt like, I can, I want to be able to put it out the way I want to put it out, the way it deserves, with the full, the way the artist did on this, right? And that doesn't mean I don't like color. Hell, Incredible came out in color, right? So at the end of the day, I'm going to try digital first with Fund My Comic, put it out there, see if we can get 100 backers, right? And put it out for whatever figure, we need to put it out at, and let's see people instantaneous within a month get the comic book, right? It's almost finished. All I got to do is I got to go through this freaking thing and edit all my spelling mistakes. This is, so as you can see, like this is a variant cover we're going to put out. I got to edit it. The waist here is different, as you can see. Her waistline around there is a different thing. It's from a different, my versions. This is like my variant cover, but the artwork, all the artwork on this mainly at the moment for the covers is by Francisco Conte. So there's quite a few artworks, covers that he's done. He did about 3 different versions, and then, but on top of that, we've got a color artwork that's been done by a colored cover, right? That's been done by Hugo, who's our artist on Incredible. Now, look, I just look at this every time and I go, man, this is such a cool, the artwork on this is so cool, right? And I just want to be able to, just do it justice and put it out the way that we can put it out, right? And I think it's, it's such a cool, cool little book. And so there's 2 stories in this book, right? There is the first story, which is the title story, which is Robot Nations, right? Nation. And so at the, with that, the story, as I had to write up that story, and I mean, not write up story, I had to do a little blurb on it. So I'm going to read the blurb out to you guys that I wrote up for Twitter, right, as a promotion piece. Now, let's have a look. So the 2 stories, right, is, where are we? Where are you, my buddy? Okay, so that's the first story. All right, that jumped into it before I could get to the other one. All right, here we go. All right, the story number 1, right, it's gone away on me again. Here we go. Excuse me. Right, so I'm going to share, I might as well share the Twitter post so you guys can see the post, right? So give me 1 sec. And please, if you guys are like on Twitter, check out Plunge NZ. It's or Plungecast, right? So it's Plunge NZ1 on Twitter. Give me a follow. I saw something strange pop up today. I had an instant follow on Twitter, and it was like it's instant share or something on Twitter and or X's, where someone had basically, like 2 ladies, right? I know it's ladies because their face was there, but I reckon it's a bot, right? So they have 1 follower, but they have but they're following nobody, and I thought that was kind of strange. So please give me a follow on, give us a follow, right? On Twitter, give us a follow on Plunge NZ on Instagram. You can see all the links for all our sites and social media and stuff on the Plungecast page here on YouTube, right? So if you haven't subscribed to us, please jump on there and subscribe if you're watching this on Facebook or Twitch. Now, so, right, so as I mentioned, right, so the story is written by myself, of course, and art by Francisco, and this is a page, right, from that, and you can see here, this is the characters here, I can't even remember the names, Apologies. But, they're hiding away, or they're playing, what would you call that? I guess, building a tent, building a hut inside a house, whatever. But okay, so the first story is a 12-page story, a complete story. So when you buy a Robot Nation comic book, you can be 100% assured that it's a complete story. It's not leading to something else. You don't have to buy the next issue, but we'd love you to buy the next issue when it comes out. But this is a standalone book. So you don't have to worry about, oh, are they ever going to make another one if I love this so much? Yes, we will make another one, but you don't have to buy, you don't have to wait for it, because the story here is complete, right? So, and then of course, when you do wait for it, you'll be excited, because this will be a whole new complete two-story comic book. So it's a 28-page comic book. The first story, as I mentioned here, is about a young couple who return from camping on a remote island to find their world has changed while they've gone away. Based in Tutankhamun Coast, from New Zealand, which is over that way. It's kind of like over that way, right? Which is about 45 minutes, an hour from here. Well, actually, probably just 45 minutes or less, depending, right? And then you got the second story, which is called, and that one is called Robot Nation. The second one, of course, is called The Trouble with Bobo. It's 16 pages, so it's 12 pages and 16 pages, 28-page comic book, right? So with 36 pages all up, with back matter, with with a couple promotional pieces about what's going to come up next, bit about what we're doing here in New Zealand with our Plunge Studios, New Zealand imprint. And so this one's about a family on a spacecraft desperate to land on Venus as they run out of fuel, right? So both stories are in black and white, right? So, let me, like I said, jump on Twitter. Let me know what you guys think. I'll put this artwork out there because we want you guys to, see before ahead of time. See ahead of time what's coming out. So it's going to be on, Find My Comics. Here we go. It's right, and it's going to be login, right? So it's going to be on our account. I don't know what, I think my account's called, my campaigns. It's be under this when it comes out, under Robot Nation. I haven't done anything being edited, right? So when you see it come up, do a follow, right? Follow it, so you guys, when it comes up, you'll be able to think, or you'll be aware when it's going to come out. Now, all that's left for me to do right now on this book is just to edit it, right? Is to edit the spelling and the final run through on the speech bubbles. One of the things I'm very conscious about is art, and when you marry the speech bubbles to it, right? It's important to me that I don't waste any art done on the page by putting bubbles over things unnecessarily, right? If I find a space, I am going to put the bubbles on on any spare space I can find, rather than, just putting willy-nilly, because I have the time, right? As you can see here, right? I have the time to, to not rush things, because I don't mean like I have the time not to rush this. What I mean is that I have the patience to, it's just a way of talking patience and all that. But I won't want to waste any hard work that my artist has done, right? Because I don't want to be putting bubbles everywhere. That's anywhere that's going to block stuff. Now, of course, you can't do that all the time, as you can see here. Just to the left here, because sometimes that's the way things are, because it's a ship. People are talking, and you're going to have to show the whole ship. But when you look to the fourth panel here, the top on the right, you can see, there's space that's left there by Francisco, because it's just glass at the back. And then, of course, here on the second panel, you got lots of white there and so on. And it's easy to, put bubbles on. But for me, it's important to showcase the art as much as it's that you hear about that you read the story. Because at the end of the day, it's a marrying of art and literature, right? The text, right? So you want to marry the art with the story. And sometimes one of the things I do is when I get the artwork back, I sometimes go over my writing. I go over the script and go, when I'm looking at the art itself that the artist has done, sometimes I change the text to marry it up into a better way, because I still have time to finalize my writing. And of course, sometimes I even, if the artist is aware of what I'm is finished the artwork and I haven't finished the script, I'll just send the panels how I want it, and then just send it off without doing the script, right? As long as he knows who's on there, I get some great work. So now I want to show you guys some pencil work, right? That our awesome Francisco, right, Conti has done. All right, so check out this pencil work. Now, it's when you see pencil work, you have to, comic artists are very different animal, right? They're animal unto themselves. And what I mean by that is that they can visualize, right, where they're going. And this is, where they're going to put the inks. See, I can't do that. Like, I got to basically, for myself, I'm just going to work off the pencil. And I mean, I haven't done comic stuff for a while, and I doubt I'm going to return to doing comic art because I'm just not that skilled at it. And it's better to have skilled people work on your projects with you because they make you look like a skilled person, right? So I really appreciate that. So, I just love seeing, each time I get a page, I get 2 pages at a time. And so last week was the last time, or this weekend was the last time I got the last 2 inked pages. And I was like, yes, woohoo, all 28 pages are done, all the covers are done. And then yesterday I got the ink inks for one of the covers that we're going to use to, do all the variances off. We're also going to do a wraparound for the print, right? For the print, a wraparound, where are we here? A wraparound version, which is just inks, because I just want, I wanted something just cool. Not something just cool, but I just wanted to show on the cover what it's, one of the works. So this is one of the, I think this is a, I can't remember what we called it, whether it was a standard cover or whether it was like a safe for work cover, whatever. But we had 3 different versions, and there's this one here and there's another one. But I did this one because I want to have a full wraparound cover. We've also got a cover that Hugo's colored, which is very cool, really cool. The standard cover for Hugo's one is a let me just grab that, is one that is just is like a half, which is what's going to be on the digital, right? So this is what's going to be on the digital, and it's also going to be on the standard cover for the cover A, for the Robot Nation, both for digital and for print in next year. But digitals, we're going to be putting a digital within a week or 2, right? So that it can be out into people's hands for Christmas, basically, right? So we're not going to at least that way you could gift, if you want it, as part of your, as part of your gift. Like, hey, give a comic book away, right? A digital comic. It's easier, and you can do that while you wait for next year's Incredible to drop in your hand, right? So I'm looking forward to this. Like, this is Hugo's, of course, Hugo's colors, right? Color work on Francisco's art. I've done the, now if I remember, there is his, yeah. So this one, yeah. So I was just checking if this one has the, has his signature on there. There you go. So there's Francisco's signature. Now colored by Hugo, and there's quite a few variances that we've got coming up, and we're going to use, we're going to put out like posters and stuff as well. But yeah, I'm quite excited about this work. Like I said, 28 pages, 36 printed pages, all pages all up. Excuse me. And that basically, we will let you know exactly the day it drops. It'll be everywhere. And that'll give you, a month to basically get it so that you can have it in time for Christmas, as I mentioned, that you can actually have it to give away. Now, I say it's a mature comic book because, I mean, there's some mature themes in it. It is horror in it, and it's, sci-fi, horror, fantasy. So I don't want to like just, put out as an all ages book. It's probably, if I really thought about it, it would be like a teen plus. But, on the safe side, I thought just put out as a mature book. Now, I want to do, next up, right, is a reaction video, right? This is, I'm only reacting to this for a very specific reason, and because it has to do with my own comments about the similar kind of thing when it comes to people talking about representation and stuff, right? So last week or this week, I think it was, yeah, it was this week, there was a, give me one sec. So there was a, oh, I missed it again. Give me one more second here. Let me grab that. So there was a interview done with the Director X, right? The director of Robin Hood, Robin with a Y. Now, if you don't know what that is, I'm going to just give you a quick run. I've talked about this very minimally, and we talked about it in the lines of what was in the trailer and what was, and what they were talking about in the sense of, let me just grab that, and so you get a bit of background of what they're talking about, right? Okay. We don't do the flashy gutter how we live. You're not in the sheriff's department.
Masked robbers who rap about their crimes. It's just sexy.
What's your plan?
Stay out of Sherwood!
This was a terrible idea.
What's the point in fighting if you know you can't win? Because some fights have to be fought.
Time's up, Sherwood! I want the criminals known as the Hood.
You wanted me? Here I am. We can stop them, take back what's ours, and give what we steal to our people. Whoever these people are, I'd say they just declared war.
So next up is the interview with the director. So there was this whole scuffle because people were commenting on what they saw on in the trailer, and then when they watched it, and the whole idea of like Robin Hood and putting that in the Black community about Black people and stuff. And so and about certain things, which I'm going to let Mark see. And this is Mark C's video. Give him a good follow, man. Like, I want to actually, hopefully, Mark, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, man, I would love to interview you about the very specific things that you talk about, right? Because you've been out here for, about 6, 7 years, right? And I want to hear it from you, and I would love to interview you. So please, if you, I would love to have you on Plunge Pop. That's that's where I sit down with people and talk for 2 hours that are part of entertainment about and on YouTube and pop culture and stuff like that. So please, I'm going to send you a link. I'm not sending you a link. I'm going to send an email out to you, and or comment on this and just ask you to come. And yeah, let's do it. Let's do an interview. I'd love to talk to you one-on-one. You can check out my other videos, right? It's under the Plunge Pop. Just write in Plunge Pop and it'll be there. POP, that is. Right. So I want to talk about this here. And not because not because of what I mean, not mainly because, let me rephrase that, right? I want to talk about this because in the sense that when I listen to Mark talk about it, I remember what I said in regards to another movie, which had non-white, like it was about like a non-white family, right? And I felt like it did injustice, and I'll read that to you soon. The post I made 2 years ago, by the way, right? And because everything right now is about promoting, non-whites, right? Ethnic people, anybody that isn't white, they're trying to promote, put in as many of them, gender, race swapping, everything. So this whole thing is a big part of race swapping, right? And with that comes a lot of stereotypes, which is what Mark talks about. And that's something I mentioned on Facebook on 2 years ago to my friends, right? And because I just seen the movie, and I'll mention that movie in a minute, but I want to talk about, let's have a watch of this and then we'll talk about it, right? Because I had to rewatch it again just before this, just to be prepared, right? But this is Mark. Right. Please.
The taxes. No. Rob from the rich and give to the poor. That's the reason why that's a slogan we all know.
Okay,
So,
let's just stick to the stereotype thing. Okay. The stereotype thing. All right. But I think that I should put it out there that my interest in this is as a parent. Okay. So it's like it might.
So that's very important. Remember that. Mark is talking about being a parent, right? Being a father. And by the way, he's talking as a black father, black American father, right? That's all very important to what he's going to say, because he's talking to a guy from Canada, right? Which is Director X, right? Second down to the left, to the right, to the left, right, of your screen, Director X. So there's an American, African talking American, black American. What, it's confusing. Black American, right? Talking to a black Canadian, right? About what he has a problem with about the show Robin Hood.
Might be, 14 and up. It might be for young adults and things like that. I didn't just come out of nowhere. I've been doing these videos since my son's been like 8 or 9. He's 15 years old now. All right. So I look at not just your show, but just about every show that's out there that I know that young adults, he and his friends would be looking at. And I say to myself, is this something that they need as far as their image is concerned? Because when you talk about, and I'm talking about here, black children, all right, they're in a position now where they need images badly. All right, the stats, self-harm is up, depression is up. It's like when you're in a situation like that, it's a pandemic of its own. You know what I mean? So it's like
Now, one thing, like when I was watching it, it's really hard to pay attention because someone on that panel is coughing, burping, and making noises. I don't know who it is. I couldn't tell, but it's so annoying. So as you notice, now I just mute myself when I'm taking a drink, because problem with me is you notice that I drink a lot. If you watched any of our podcasts, any videos, even the recorded ones, anyone, I drink a lot. This has to do with the medication I take. It really dries out my mouth. And so, I stopped. I kind of like mute myself because of that. I wish that people, like, if you're on a panel and someone's talking and you start doing that, it's very off-putting. It's, it's not only, I kind of say disrespectful, but it's to the person speaking, but it's kind of off-putting as well. Because, your attention goes to that and you forget what the friggin', you miss what the guy was saying. So, I end up muting myself every time, someone's talking now, if I take a drink, because even the swallowing is going to like make a sound, right?
Everything that comes in front of them, parents need to be looking at. So when I look at a show like this and you're talking about stereotypes, I am a very involved father. The first thing I noticed was the absentee father. Okay, there was no father there. Not only that, but the mother was talking about go live with your father who's laying on somebody's couch or something like that. I had to wince when I heard that. You know what I mean? Because that's just furthering the stereotype that's out there. You must admit that is a stereotype, right? Absentee fathers.
One of the things about that, right, the absentee fathers, it's not uncommon, but the degree of that in ethnic families is higher than that in European families, right, and white families. Now, talking about burping, right? Excuse me. So with that, you got to think back to the 80s and 90s, right? You had different strokes. You had like, even whatever with Bill Cosby, you had these strong role models for children to look up to in TV and movies, but mainly TV, because that was there every day, right? Even if you had family like Charles in Charge, their father had died, right, in that family, and you had someone who was being hired as a nanny, as a live-in nanny to look after the kids. The 3 kids, and you can see why they were so I think that was one of the only shows that I can remember off the top of my head that had like just a mum, like, a mum running the family. You had My Two Dads, right? Basically, and you had like, well, there was 2 dads, right? And I think the mum had passed away in that, or something had happened with the mum, right? But then you also had Michael J. Fox, right? And Family Ties, and you had a whole family that was like, everybody, my generation grew up on that. We don't, and then suddenly the world went selfish. And I'm a divorcee as well. I understand how tough relationships can be, but I also understand that there's compromises to be made. But if the other person doesn't want to compromise, you can't do anything. And if you're dying inside in a relationship, it's not worth it. And no matter what you think, it's not worth it. But at the end of the day, by putting broken homes and broken families in just about every freaking show on TV now, it's so depressing, right? It's so depressing, man. I just can't understand why we have to see what we see in the world on TV, which is supposed to friggin' entertain us, right? Why do we have to constantly see that crap all the time, right? We want escapism. We want to see healthy families so we can actually say, Dad, Mom, why can't we be like that? And the parents have to, maybe like, oh, I got no answer for you. Or maybe like, okay, we'll try. Oh, this is the reason, right? But by perpetuating I was going to say racism, but by stereotypical things, stereotypes and stuff, it's not helping anybody out here, right?
It is a stereotype. I think we all know that. It's an existing stereotype, all right? One that is unfairly put on us. We have Father's Day cards, Happy Father's Day, Mom, okay? I believe the mother in the show would probably be one of those mothers that would receive a card like that. So what I'm saying is our kids need to see something more, okay? Now listen, you made a production here, all right? And I know that there's a lot of people who worked hard on this, all right? In my review, I gave you credit for putting young actors to work, all right? But what I'm saying is that we need to do better, because I see you as a filmmaker of color and everything. So it's not just.
Yeah, so the guy who kind of like really pushes that, like he pushed the racist, not racist, the racism side of things, right? The race side, I should say. Director X really pushed the race thing very forward. Like like when you race swap a character, there's nothing else to say about it. You basically pushed race to the forefront, and we'll talk about that about this soon. All right, John Constantine. So yeah, so when you do that, you know what you're doing, right? You're gonna use something that's such a amazing that even I, as a 10, 12, 13-year-old kid, was playing Robin Hood. And with my friends behind our house, which was full of trees and pine trees. And you know, when you got pine trees, there's like all these areas that like there's a whole row. I can see it right now in my head. Behind our house, like there's a whole street, almost like a half a street length, right? From our house to the end of the street. Behind our house, you know, was this row, 2 rows of trees, and in the middle, you know, there was a pathway that led to the club rooms, right? The rugby rooms, right? Rugby league. And then across the field, you could go to the primary school that I went to. But we used to build like huts and stuff, and, you know, bow and arrows and spears, a whole bunch of, you know, stuff like that, sword fighting. And so I did that as a kid. So when you say Robin Hood, I go, yes, Robin Hood from England, right? Who did this stuff? Part of history. It's their folklore, you know, in England, and it only works there, right? And it's very important to any colonial kid, because we grew up on TV. We saw like after school specials kind of things. You know, we basically did that as part of what we were growing up in New Zealand, Australia, you know, anywhere the Brits were, because when we had the British channels like BBC and all that, we got that, right? And plus, not only that, but when we had our own channels here in New Zealand, you had that, you know, shown, right? Because it's, you know, you sell the rights to it and people license it out, I should say, and so on. And so everybody grew up on it that I know. Like we all in New Zealand at that time knew who Robin Hood was. Of course, there's Kevin Costner movie and so many other ones, right? TV shows were there.
Just you, I've been talking about this for years. All right, years. We have to do better for these kids that's out here, rather than give them something that's already there. You were saying it's nothing new, bisexual is nothing new. Yes, it's nothing new. That's the reason why we're talking the way we're talking. We want to see something new. You understand? It's like our kids need to see something new. So when I'm looking at this and I see these kids throwing rocks and eggs at cops and stuff like that, I say this on my channel all the time. It's no secret. I come from a law enforcement family. My father, my brother, my mother, all of their jobs were made tougher by things like that. We need to have a better relationship with our law enforcement. I'm worried that our kids will get the wrong idea looking at stuff like that. You know, it's like robbing.
So last week, right, a 30-year-old boy died in America, right? Because for weeks, like for a few months, right, for ages, he was out there playing gangster, carjacking people, right? Being physical, being violent towards people, random strangers, right? And at the end of it, just last week, he had his hand in his pocket in his hoodie, right? Like he was carrying a gun. And the guy in the car was he was a off-duty police officer in his own car, I think going home or going to work. And this kid rocked up on him, whatever, behaving like he had a gun. The guy, fearing for his life, shoots the boy. 30 years old, man. So you've got these people, kids out here watching this sort of stuff and doing this sort of stuff, seeing their friends and families, members, whatever, in their neighborhood doing this sort of stuff, expecting nothing bad's going to happen because TV's telling them it's a good thing to do, right? Rob people. You've seen all throughout the last couple of years such bad behavior. Gangs of people, Versace, all those top brand labels saying, oh, because we're hungry. Politicians making excuses about this criminal behavior. People victimizing other people and going, oh, it's because they're hungry. You're going to steal $1,000 bags because they're hungry? You're going to steal computers because they're hungry? I'm talking about computers. When they robbed an Apple store, right? Apple just let them do it. Because guess what? You're not supposed to touch these people because you yourself will get fired by the thing, right? We saw people getting fired for trying to stop, call the police. The manager got fired by the boss, by the CEO. So because guess what? The protection on here is on the villains and the criminals now. We're not protecting citizens out here because of stuff like this. You're perpetuating, stereotypes, and people are picking up on them going, yeah, well, you can't hurt me now, or you can't arrest me now because I'm such and such color. And it's such a sad thing to see. I would hate to see that go out of America elsewhere. And we've seen that in France, right? We're seeing it all around the world right now, starting because of this behavior. Whatever happens in America goes global, unless the people in those countries, talking about my own country, are strong enough to say, no, we shall abide by the law in our country. You will be a good citizen or you get locked up. But America is becoming so weak that fear of being called a racist lets criminals get away with being racist, right? The other, like people out here, like killing people because they hate white people now, because that's what the media is telling them to do. There's racism everywhere, right? Anybody that's white is racist. So now you hate people who are white for no random strangers you don't even know, and you kill them because what? Because the media and your friend who's a racist told you that white people are racist, or the other way around, right? You'd follow the other way around, and so when you go, well, I think Jews are bad, right? So now I'm going to hurt those people. I think black people are bad, now I'm going to hurt those people. With random strangers. And I think the whole idea why we behave this way in the world is because we weaken ourselves to think for ourselves. Or we have people like Director X here, as Mark calls them out, that is perpetuating stereotypes. And those stereotypes lead to societal breakdown.
The rich to give to the poor, that doesn't work for the Black community, because that's what they say we do anyway. They say that we're leeches in this country. We're sponges. You know what I mean? Robin Hood is not who we are. So that's what I'm talking about. All due respect, my friend, all due respect. All right. But I'm just saying, when you talked about coming up with the concept for this, you said it was a no-brainer. My thing is, you need to have a brainer. You know what I mean? Think about this. Robin Hood doesn't work for the Black community. I could understand if it was a different type of story where maybe they were in the jungle or something like that. Something like, but in the projects, having bad relations with cops and absentee fathers, the daughter has a condom jar. It's like, and I've heard you respond to this too, where, okay, safe sex. Wonderful. It's like, I'm all for that. My 15-year-old son, I don't give him a condom jar, but I definitely tell him to practice safe sex. But the thing that I
So here's the thing, right? So when I heard that part, my idea in my head was, why not teach promiscuity, right? That's, when I was listening to it, I was like, I was doing dishes, right? At the time I was listening to this the other day. And I thought, if this is going to an extreme, it's like you're almost like by having the condoms in the jar there, and the mum goes out of her. Yeah, this is the guy who wrote it, right? So he's writing this in, that in his head he's thinking that if I put this in it, it'll look really cool as sex. How about saying, hey, hun, I hope you're safe out there, and maybe not, not sleep around, right? And the reason I say that is because there's so many abortions because of this, right? The promiscuity, right? Is that supposed to be like, what is that? Promiscuity? Is that like the opposite? Am I saying the opposite of that? Yeah, I think promiscuity is when you're loose, right? But also, but the other opposite of, like, maybe refrain, abstain. That's what I'm thinking. Abstain, right? Maybe abstain. Teach abstination, abstention, right? Not promiscuity, right? But like by doing that, by having the condom in a jar there, it's just like saying, be safe, keep going, keep doing it. Let's be safe. It's like you almost giving license, right? License to do it. But kind of like the excuse is like, okay, well, that's because you got to, have safe sex. But like, understandable, everybody knows that. But maybe why not go, hey, why don't we abstain, right? Abstinence, right? Why not maybe teach that? Because we already know everybody's, is out there doing it, because, and the problem here is that kids are learning about all these things very early in age. I learned about it very early in age as a child, sadly, right? And it ruined my life. I think it's one of the biggest things to learn about sex at a really young age due to pornography. It ruined my life, right? The way I thought, the way I think, the way I behaved around people around me to the opposite sex as a child, right? And so I've never had anybody sit me down and give the sex talk to me, because I already knew everything, because of having it introduced to it so early, which I've always felt that but then I've had other stuff to happen to me due to that, right? So which I'm kind of a weird case in that sense. Maybe someday I'll publicly speak about it, maybe on this channel, maybe not, I don't know, but I'm not ready to do that yet. But like I said, like, why not teach abstinence? Nobody else is freaking teaching abstinence. Any TV shows out there. We want to be different. You want to be effective for your, you want to be effective for your people. Why not do something that's totally different? Speak about something that's totally different. Speak about abstinence. Speak about having a good relationship with the cops. How you deal with law, right? There's I think Officer Tatum. He talks about, hey, look, if a cop stops you, no sass, just chill, just answer what's been asked, behave, as calmly and as peacefully as you can, and do that. I've had many interactions with police, enough to not ever have them again, right? Want them again. But most of them come out really well, because it's just been like, there's been a couple that's been bad, but a lot of them actually, has been really good. I was like, okay, how can I help? And now I just wave out to them, smile, wave out whenever I see cops, because I think they're people like me doing a dangerous job. But when you got like shows and TV and teaching people, kids especially, young kids, right, impressionable kids, to behave in a destructive way around law enforcement, then yes, like the 13-year-old boy, you might end up losing your life or be harmed or be injured or being paralyzed. So many terrible things can happen if you go out of your way to create a unsafe environment for yourself. There's enough cops are on edge anyway. A lot of times, the reason for that is because they've seen their friends get killed. Right? You've seen enough videos, news videos of where cops have been killed. When they've gone to help people, right? Or when they do help people, people turn on them. So, you gotta be, you gotta do, if you want to do something different, do that. Like Mike is saying, good interactions with police. You talk about abstinence, right? This show has got 1 out of 10 on IMDb. This is how much people hate this, right? And of course, there could be some people out there review bombing, but from what's happened, I don't, it deserves it to a certain degree, but not that much. I mean, like even I would give it a 4, right, or 3, but not 1. But people are, okay, they can do it. Anybody, you can do it.
Said is that it's more about self-esteem to say sex, but the thing that I said
Hold
is
on,
that it's
let me just
more
go back here. Yeah, I bet.
Wonderful. It's like I'm all for that. My 15-year-old son, I don't give him a condom jar, but I definitely tell him to practice safe sex. But the thing that I said is that it's more about self-esteem than it is about safe sex. When you have a daughter who's going through a condom jar and you're her mother, all right, knowing what the stats are for Black women, especially in America, the number 1 carriers of STD, the number 1 unwanted pregnancies, the number 1 single mothers, the number 1 dying in pregnancy, the number 1 unlikely to be married, all right? Having a condom jar is a stereotype, my friend, all right? And it's wrong to be putting out there because you're encouraging that.
Okay. Encouraging, no, listen, kids are having sex, whether we like it or not. Pretending like that's not happening. And this is why the mother not only says there's a condom jar, she says, I don't want you catching nothing. You don't hear no one talk like that on television. Anybody across any genre about the fact that
your daughter that she's emptying a condom jar though, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is the same. This is the same.
Hold on a second. There's a few conversations.
There is a line in Twilight about that.
Okay, great. So
if you had a daughter and she was going through your condom jar like it was candy,
but hold on. So at what point? Or is the idea that now if it's a show with young Black people that it has to be the perfect family and they have to be the perfect people and the reason why Robin is a bit of a fuck up is because she has to go somewhere as a character. She's not a fuck.
Okay, so he's talking about like why does it have to be a perfect? Why does a Black family have to be a perfect family? Well, the problem is how many Black families you've seen on TV that are normal families, represented as a normal, happy, hard-working family, right? Really think about that. Like, how many do you know? I don't know that many. So you look at some of the like TV shows, right? The first one that came to my head was Power. Yeah, Power was the first one, right? Criminal Dad. Mom, I think it's a mom sleeping around, dad sleeping around. Everybody's kind of like sleeping around, right? And like they're stuck together because of power, right? Because they're money and all that. So that's the first thing that came to me. Now, like as I mentioned, when I go back, when you look at like the Cosbys, what represented a wholesome Black family? Okay, like I said, Bill Cosby, right? Whatever. But the actual show represents something good, right? And even when like there was a whole thing about what Bill wanted to do, like he in his own life was like in his own real life wasn't that, but his show was that, right? So you got to see, and that's what I think about, like, even though my life can be a mess up, what I write about is nothing about me. It's about the characters in my stories. I want to show good side. I want to show people being heroes. I want to see them doing well. I don't, or whatever they're going through, I want them not to represent me. right? They're not me. They're their own characters, their own beings. And so this whole idea, why does it have to be a what? Because all we see is terrible families. Like, that's all we see right now. It's terrible fathers, terrible mothers, terrible kids on TV. Well, I don't have to look that far to see that in my life. So I turn on TV because I want to be entertained. But I also want to see good things, right? People behaving good to each other. Of course, I'll enjoy all sorts of genres. But at the end of the day, right? I want to see good versus evil. I want to see the good do well. I want to see good things, good people behaving good, right? And fighting the bad. Like I said, I don't have to look that far outside my window to see the opposite of that, right?
Throughout the whole show, she has to grow as a character.
Are we addressing the fact that she has a self-esteem problem where she's sleeping with all these people where she wouldn't need condoms in a jar?
Oh, have you seen her?
Right. So that's the thing, and Mark makes a really important point here. A female equates love. What is it like? Give sex for love, right? That's very important. Whereas men give love for sex, right? Males, right? And so when the female, gives sex, she's thinking, it's because she's in love. So when you see someone who's like out there doing all this, she's seeking love, right? Females, and the guys is out there to get it, right? He's only gonna he's gonna feign love to get sex, where the woman will give sex to get love, right? And I learned that a long time ago, and it really it made me realize and questioned what I had done in my life when it came to relationships, and I think we don't teach young women abstinence enough, or young men abstinence enough, because we don't say, look, man, when you sleep with someone, it's very important the connection that you have with them. But I've thought about this a while when it comes to the whole sexual revolution in the 60s, where everybody was sleeping with anybody. It's really like, yeah, yay, males can behave like, females can behave like males, get out there and do it all. It's very empowering. But at the end of there's a lot of heartache that females lie about, right? They're seeking love, so they give sex. Men are seeking sex to give love, right? Are giving love to get sex, right? So there's a twistedness in when relationship, when these two males and females are connecting. If the female gives up sex so quickly, then she's looking for a lot of emotional abuse, right? And I don't mean like pain and stuff. Like, I'm talking about like mental, right? Because she's like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna love me, he's gonna be with me, if I do this, yeah, this will be for a long time. No, right? 90% of what we're learning is that it's not gonna happen that way. That's why there's so many, and it's not just a Black community, right? It's worldwide, right? Especially amongst the young, right? There's so much brokenness. See, this is the thing, like the sexual revolution brought about so much brokenness in women. Seriously, if you really think about it, there's so many women in their 40s and 50s right now, even their 30s, they're so lonely, more so than men, even though those men tend to like opt out, right? Which is sad, right? So if you're thinking that way, man or woman, please get help, man. Speak to someone close to you about it, because life is so precious, right? I had to learn that the hard way. I've been through, attempts, a couple of attempts myself, and I'm so grateful to be alive. A lot of what I've done just alone in the 5 years that I've dreamed about doing would never have come to pass if I had opted out, if I'd succeeded in my attempts. But it took me a while to realize life is so precious. So whenever I see, such despair and depression on, like social, like this stuff, right? I just kind of like, it saddens me, right? Because I want to see people being happy. I want to bring joy and happiness through my art, through what I do, through what I talk about. I might commentate, but at the end of the day, I want people to do better, to be better. I want to do better. I want to be better, right? So I'm always looking at myself in the mirror, thinking like, how can I be better? So when I listen to other people, it's like, what would I do in this situation? How would I behave? What is best? What would be the better way to respond to that? So, so I find it like we're not teaching young people enough about responsibility when it comes to sexual activity, right? So now you have mothers with kids through 3, 4 different fathers, right? And treating babies as a way to get free money from the government, or free money from the fathers, right? You see some, if you've been around, if you just watch videos right on TikTok or whatever, Instagram, you see some terrible, terrible parenting going on, right? So we don't need more people perpetuating this, right? These stereotypes, because abstain, right? Come on, teach abstinence. If you want to be fucking radical, teach abstinence, right? Excuse my language.
Sleep with anybody?
She's just leading them on at the same time and using them for her advantage.
Yeah, it's called the love triangle. Again, I'm confused about what's happening.
I'm trying to help you not be confused, my friend.
Is your complaint is that the show
That's it, right? So, he goes, I'm confused, right? You shouldn't be confused about what you're writing about. You shouldn't be confused about what these guys are pointing out, because like you said, what you don't even know why you're doing. I'm like, maybe no, he does know why he's doing it, right? He said like he's condoms there because he's trying to say be safe for sex. That's what your teachers and your parents are supposed to teach you, not TV, right? So anyway, how about teach something different? You know what? Abstinence.
It's not a bunch of perfect young black kids running around that get along with
I don't know.
I do need to remind you. Hold on. I do need to remind you. I'm making Robin Hood. The villain in Robin Hood is.
No, he's not making Robin Hood. He's making a version of Robin Hood, right? He's using Robin Hood to enforce a stereotype, a narrative, right? Right? Fatherless homes, fathers being treated like dirt, a young lady who's out there screwing all the time and the mother's okay with it, even goes out there, goes and buys condoms, fills a friggin' jar full of condoms. Out there, black kids behaving very terribly, right? Being criminals, but expecting to be treated like heroes, and then they get treated like heroes by the people in the show, right?
The sheriff.
Like,
no, because this isn't.
You're not going to have a job.
So, like I said, this is a clip from Gospel According to Mark, right? Mark with a C. But when the actual, like the whole thing was on, I didn't watch it. I tried watching it, but there was all this, it just became an argumentative, maybe later on it got cleaned up, like this part here, right? So I'm glad that Mark shared this. I really appreciate that he said this. I could actually
I'm reminding you again at the beginning of the show, it's 14 adult. Let me tell you something that doesn't happen as well. If you wear a cape, you can't fly. And if you wear a Batman suit, you can't jump off a penthouse and land on top of a car. And if you drive, are we complaining? Are we complaining that
he's doing what aboutism, right? It's just, we know it's a fantasy, dude, right? We know it's a fantasy, but we're not talking about superheroes here, right? You're using a well-known folktale, legend thing, whatever, that's centuries old, right? Very important, right, to us around the world, right? Kids, good versus evil, right? Band of merry men, right? And just such, and amongst that is a love story. Amongst that is about friends working together to take down the villain, right? It's such an important role. I haven't seen Robin Hood for years, but Friar Tuck, right? Miriam, Lady Miriam, and so on, yeah.
Entertainment we love isn't realistic enough. So then again, this is what I'm saying.
No.
You guys have come to this show to hate it. You come to pick it apart.
Well, can I bring it down?
No. I love it.
Hold on.
You come to this show to pick it apart.
I haven't talked in like a half hour yet.
Hold on a second, Julian. There's a reason why I started off by saying I represent as a father. All right. I need you to feel me on that because you mentioned your son. You're a father too, right? It's like I don't come to anything to hate it. Okay. So that's insulting to everybody here. All right. So please stop with the blanket, you guys. All right. I'm speaking as a father. I told you that specifically. Okay.
So
I watched the show.
The responsibility of black entertainment now is to be perfect.
Well, can I speak for a second?
Maybe have a positive role model.
Wait. Hold on a second,
guys. Come on.
Because I don't want to be misunderstood here. All right. I am not.
I mean, if y'all want Sesame Street, y'all should watch Sesame Street. But tell me,
this is kind of like why I don't like to have a lot of people on my podcast. Especially when something like that, like interviews, because everybody wants to jump in. But I think, and you can't really, especially when the guy out there is like accusing everybody of doing one thing, right? When like Direct S is going like, and I'm not defending it, I'm not defending these guys or anything. But in this sense, like, you almost feel like you have to be answerable for everything you do. But then the guy's accusing everybody of being the same way. This thing happened with I got reminded of who's that guy that did like the Justice League, the director or something verse Snyder, right? He went on to the Geeks and Gamers thing, was it last year or something? After those guys fought really hard, and to have, to promote that stuff and like, got an interview with him. And he was out there, accused him of being racist and stuff. And it was just so sad to see that. So now here's this guy who's accusing them of like not watching, going into the movie or the TV show and going with it, hating it. Like me, I don't never watch anything anymore. I just don't have the time. Because why? But what that I think put people off was by seeing what was in it. And these guys have seen it, obviously, right?
Tell me what else in the world? What else meets the standard?
Hey, hold on, one at a time.
Tell me another show. Okay. Tell me another show that works on this standard that you guys are on.
I'm asking you, when did I say that I expect your show to be perfect? If you can't tell me where I said I expect your show to be perfect, I expect an apology because I didn't say that.
Don't talk to me. No. You're saying you have a problem.
I'm sorry, what?
There's a problem that she's She's directionless. We have a problem that their mother has a condom jar and is concerned about diseases. We're concerned that there's no father in the house. We're concerned that the community doesn't get along with the police. So all your complaints is that the show is not a perfect world in Robin Hood.
Okay, can you speak to what I was saying before about the black kids out here who need images, who are being denied that, who are in a state of emergency because they're harming each other personally, they're harming each other.
So you saw the Lionheart episode, right?
Okay. I'm going to leave that there. So please check it out. It's and also give Mark with a C. The channel is The Gospel According to Mark, or according to, but Mark with a C. Definitely check him out, and you guys can watch the rest of it there. And I'm going to stop there because you know, he's got more to say, and I don't want to like use up all his stuff. But you know, if you're out there saying this is, yeah, you're representing yourself as a spokesperson for that community, then people are going to ask you about that. Like I'm the same when it comes to the Indian community, right? So especially when it comes to the caste system, that caste system, it's abhorrent. It keeps people, like in the Indian caste system, like I've spoken this about before, it keeps people in a state of poverty for their entire life, for generations, right? Unless you buck the system and you run away and you reinvent yourself, you're done for. And my parents, right, ran away to Fiji, right? That's why I don't have to pretend not, you know, be some caste. I have no caste, right? I'm a Fiji Indian. Don't really care, right? But on top of that, I'm a Kiwi. Therefore, there's no labels apart from being a Kiwi Indian, right? A New Zealand Indian, right? So born in Fiji. But, you know, I always abhor the whole caste system. I will always speak about it, against it, because, and the fact, you know, that also treats the females as a second-class citizen. I actually wrote a story called Dirt, which, you know, we got the first issue done and never got completed 2 years ago because over a year ago, because the guy walked out on the project. So I got to save money now to actually get another person to do the other 7 issues, right? There's a 7-story book I wrote called Dirt that I can't actually freaking put out the first issue of because it hasn't been inked. And so it's, you know, it's kind of annoying when you get projects out here that work on and you can't finish them because of somebody's having a situation where they just feel like, oh, this excuse or that excuse or whatever happened, they don't want to go out there and talk about that. But I am like, this is why whenever I get success on a book, I'm like, yes, let's get this out there, right? That's why I kind of like that went a bit different with this one, because I went to, hey, why not get a short story out there with you know, Robot Nation. So next up, I want to speak about my friend John Constantine. So let's get Johnny on. So I'm going to first give you the bad news. All right, here you go. So all the good news, the bad news that has become good news, right? So this is this came out on the 31st. I only saw it yesterday or the day before. And this is by John F. Trent from Bounding of Into Comic Sites. That's an awesome site, right? Really well. Give them, you know, make sure you bookmark them, give them a follow, etc. So, headline: J.J. Abrams race swapped John Constantine, and as you know, he's one of my top 3 actually, right? Is officially like, hold on, let's start again. J.J. Abrams, yeah. J.J. Abrams race swap Constantine series, which TV, I guess, reportedly dead. All right. A new report claims that J.J. Abrams and Bad Robot, or Bad Reboot, right? Because he never does anything original, right? Apart from Lost, which, you know, died at the end. Productions previously announced Constantine series is dead, right? Now, of all the comic books that I've ever read and own, Constantine is the one and only that I've ever written a letter to and had it published. Thank you, Karen Berger, my favorite editor of all time. All right, okay, or publisher, I should say as well, for Vertigo imprint. Back in 2021, it was reported by Deadline that Abrams and his Bad Reboot Productions company had tapped writer Guy Bolton to write a series that was expected to stream on the then HBO Max. service streamer, of course. In that report, it was detailed by Peter White that the character is set to be cast as a diverse lead, a departure from the one played by Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan did an awesome job, as you can see in that picture. He was awesome. Actually looked like him, behaved like him. Excellent, everything was brilliant. Now, the only reason that show wasn't as successful as it should have been, in my mind, in my personal opinion, that's because of Supernatural. Everything this show was known for, the comic book was known for, was behaving the same way in Supernatural. And I love Supernatural, by the way. Seen every single episode. Yes, I have seen every single episode. Just wanted to make sure I've seen the last season as well. Yeah. And so that's why it wasn't successful. Now, if you had Constantine TV show come out as soon as the movie came out with Keanu, it would have rocked. Everybody would be like, yeah, wow, this is amazing, right? And like I said, he's in my top 3, right? Okay. So, right, so he's talking about the Matt thing, age 2014, 2015, so 8 years ago, right? So not only would it be a departure from the NBC series, but it would be a departure from the original Vertigo comics. I love Vertigo. And by the way, I pulled this out from the shelf, right? So this is 37. I have two covers. Right? I have 2 issues, right, of this. This one here, I think it's got a stick on some silly person put I don't know, it's got a Rum 30, whatever. I don't know what country that's from, on the friggin' barcode, right? But I have a copy of that. So then there's a sticker and the friggin' price and everything, but it's there. But I have one without it. And then I have the next issue, same deal, right? I don't know what country that's from, right? But I have that. But this is just my, read whatever thing. But I do have the proper one, like the one, like good quality one. So like I said, first appearance, right? First and second appearance, 37, 38. But I love this character. One of my favorites, right? So they're going to race swap this dude, right? So a day before White's report, a rumor from the Illuminati detailed the production is currently searching for an actor for the lead role, with the hopes of casting a biracial person of color actor in their late 20s, similar to young Riz Ahmed. I'm tired of race swap characters, man. I just can't. I'm just so tired, man. It's just such unimaginative rubbish out there. Right. In April 2022, the outlet reported that Abrams and HBO Max were looking to cast British actor Sophie Didisu to play Constantine. They stated, according to our sources, Warner Brothers is circling Sophie Didisu to play John Constantine in the new HBO series. So here's the thing. Wouldn't he be better as Papa Midnight? For those who don't know about Constantine, Papa Midnight is one of the lead side characters or supporting characters, who's a witch doctor type character who's black, African, whatever, or maybe he's from Haiti or Congo, I don't know, but he's black. So why don't make a series about him? No, we're going to race swap Constantine. Anyway, Night Surge Media also claimed to reveal a log line for the series read, the series blends urban action, body horror, and the supernatural on the streets of modern-day London. It follows a young man, black man, whose entire world is upended when a chance encounter with a young girl pulls him into the dark and treacherous world of the occult. Okay, so the other thing is the character, right, that they're going to have for the female was also African, black. So, which basically means they were going to, you can read the rest, but they were going to change the entire series. So why not just friggin' come with the original character that's black, that is, and the little girl is black as well, if that's what you want to do. Why ruin something that's already created, right? But what, you know, that is beloved. It was one of the longest lasting comic books of all time, 300 issues, right? Single run, right? But that's what everybody thinks everybody wants, right? This is what the TV people want, because what they think, they, you know, what they listen to is people on Twitter saying, we want this, but they'll never watch it. Just like people want in comics on Twitter, oh, we want this, we want that. They will never buy it, right? You just see the numbers, they don't buy it. You know what they buy? They buy Batman and they buy Spider-Man. And then they buy manga. That's it. You know why they buy manga? Good stories. One character all the way through the books, right? One story all the way through. No reboots, no crossovers, no nothing, just one single story. And it's something I want to do. You know, just have single stories and just do great stories, right? We've got Templeton coming out next year, right? And hope, you know, we've got the two issues of two digital issues almost complete, ready to go. We're going to release it when the first issue of Templeton #1 comes out, so you get to read the comic book in full color, and you also get to get the digital comic, which is a side story, kind of like that comes after the main story, but you know, it's already done, so we thought we'll put it out there called Taunt. But you know, like, it's be original. Don't just rehash people, right? Create something original, create something new. And I like I said, why don't you create or pick on the characters already there? Papa Midnight is already there. But the good news, right, is that show's dead. However, we now have Keanu back and an R-rated, right? And an R-rated sequel to the first one, right? So, right, here we go. So, Constantine director Francis Lawrence confirms sequel is still in development as an R-rated Elseworlds movie, right? So Elseworlds basically, you know, it basically means it's like the multiverse, whatever, you know, like the Elseworld parallel universe type setting, right? So this Constantine, right, with the black hair, right, which nobody had a problem with, by the way, even though I would have liked to have seen, right? But you can see, you know, he doesn't wear the beige, he wears the black. He's got the black hair. So, you know, it kind of like, in a way, if you look at this, right, in a way you can see that, like, kind of like they went black with the hair, black with the jacket, black with the, you know, with the tie. But, you know, it's like, and I think they went black with the pants as well, if I remember right. So I'm looking forward to this, right? I'm really the fact that, you know, we get John back, right? And we get him the way he is. I mean, I love the fact that Keanu is doing the role and the lead here, because I was so disappointed when they put Matt Ryan in the DC Legends of Tomorrow thing, because it just became a mess. As I said, I love the character. I like Matt Ryan, but when they put him in there, it just became like he's just another person in there with another sexual bent, right? Like, whatever, you know what I mean? So, but everybody else was there as well, like that. And I was like, oh man, you can't put someone special with everybody else with the same thing. right? You just can't do that with this character. This character is unique. And if you make everybody, which is why it's like I gave up on Legends of Tomorrow, the second season, I think, whatever it was, when after the first season he was on, I was like out, man. Like I just can't stand this show anymore because they just ruined an amazing character. I'm glad they brought him in, but they just made him just, he wasn't as great as he was on his own. And they just, so I'm glad we get to see Keanu back as John Constantine, right? So what they're saying is, so reports of a sequel to the 2005, that's like 22 years ago, isn't it? No, 18 years ago, my bad, right? And like I saw this at the movies. I had the movie poster, right? I was living down south, and man, I love, like I said, one of my favorite characters. I read all 300 issues of the comic book, plus a whole bunch of sidelines. So side issues. I mean, side stories, right? Standalone stories and stuff. And I also trying to collect all the issues. I think I've got about 20 or 30 issues so far. Or was it 50 or something? I don't know. But I love, I just think it's great. I think it's awesome idea to get Keanu back. All right. So, however, right. So this led to some to believe that the sequel has stalled and became another victim of James Gunn and Peter Safran's cleanup of DC Studios, because it's been in limbo for so long, right? Well, as of this week, we have an update from the originals director, Francis Lawrence, and it's good news for the second part's progress, putting to rest any lingering doubts. Promoting the latest Hunger Games movie, he confirmed to Bro Bible that the old team of himself, Keanu Reeves, and writer Akiva Goldsman are working on the story, right? Those kinds of dark DC characters, Vertigo characters, have bounced around, and we've tried to gain control. We finally have, and Keanu, I, and Akiva Goldsman, who did the movie together originally, are battling around ideas, he said, but we got sort of halted by the strike, right? So, however, we're actively coming up with ideas to create a part 2, and it will be R-rated. That's the only way you can do Constantine. Give him a hard R-rated, story. And the fact that Akiva's back, please, Akiva, don't go the woke way with this character. Don't make us hate him. I hate him enough of what DC's done with him and what the CW do with him, and what could have happened with with J.J. Abrams' TV show. But please, be loyal to the comic books. And Keanu, please, welcome back, I should say. Welcome back. Can't wait to see you in there. So, yeah, man. All right. Now, next up, I want to talk about my comic book that's been out for a while, that I haven't promoted enough, because I've just been busy with other stuff, and it's just I wish I'd done more promotions for it, but I'm doing it now, right? So it's out there. It's been print. We've got all 6 issues of it, and it's called The Circle, right? Revised edition. So it's by Malfunction, right? So you can get it in digital. You can get it in in print from risingsuncomics.com. I am going to send you some links so you can check it out. It's a mature reader's comic book, and let's see. shop. Let me get you to the website so you guys can see it. So this is Rising Sun Comics Shop. So you go, you go to the main one and you go to shop, and you will be able to see all the amazing other comic books that are out there, and you'll be able to check out my one. Oops, is that one? Press the button. Press the button. Reminds me of Chemical Brothers. Always a Daft Punk. All right. So let me see. So I think I need new batteries in my mouse. Then you go to RSC in New Zealand, right? So you can, by going to RSC New Zealand, you'll be able to get the first 6 issues of it. Now, I can't remember if you can get it in digital or not, but they're $3.99, so in print. So, right, all 6 issues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? These are the old versions that we had. There's a teaser there for like Red Dot. You can also read if you want, which is free. You can download. And we're still planning for Red Dot to come out sometime in the future. Where are you going? Oh, got me on scrolls. Hold on. Sorry, my bad. Come on now. Huh. Refresh. Right, so you go to NZ, right, RSC NZ, right, so there you go. So what is the story about, right? Now, I'll read it from the blurb, right, because it's been a while. So, let's do that. Right, so 4 friends, 1 game, murder. Right, a crime noir 6-issue limited series about friendship, deception, blackmail, and revenge. What else can you want, right? So basically, it's about 4 mates, right? High school, what should I say? 4 university friends, right? You'd say like college if you're in the US. There we go. That's better, right? 4 high school friends who get together every weekend. Friday night or Saturday night, whatever, and they play games. Now, this is kind of like what we did when I was in Chicago. Like, this is what anybody does, right? After a week of, school, 5 days of school, study, learning classes, courses, whatever. Get some beers and get home, get some pizza and hang out and play games and watch movies, whatever. So these guys decide to play. One of them comes back from a holiday, comes up with a game they made up, and then they play the game, right? And so they play the game. It's like a Q&A game where you have to, and task setting, and so they go out and do that. Now, like I said, you get it directly from Rising Sun Publishing under under shop, under RSC NZ, and you can get it directly there, or you can get it from Kindle, right? But check it out. But yeah, so they play the game, they do stuff, things happen, and it's a crime drama, so like suspense kind of thing. So it's told in a non-linear way. So it's something that I was working on at the time, like telling a story that doesn't like A to Z kind of thing. It's kind of like A, B, D, E, and so on. So hopefully, if you're into crime dramas and stuff like that, and you want to try something different to read, the comic itself is based off a film that I did as a part of my final year graduation project, right? Bachelor's film making project, right? And so, and the thing was, I went down there specifically to be able to make a movie at the end of my project, and they said I could, and so that's all I built up for. I built, 3.5 years I worked towards, I should say 3 years I worked towards building that. and writing it and rejigging it and so on. And so I am, I'm proud of it. It's my first comic where I did everything myself. I did the artwork myself, working off screenshots and stuff like that. And, and kind of like, I'm not the greatest artist. I'll never say I'm a comic book artist, but it's the first comic, that I actually ever put out. And thanks to Rising Sun Comics, right, I was able to, and Hawk Sanders, right, I was able to, who's the publisher on this, was able to actually get my first 6 issues of a comic book out. I was so, you can get it through Amazon Kindle, and for the Kindle, or you can get it through the Rising Comics page. But yeah, it's the first thing that I got in print that I actually worked on myself, because everything else kind of like that I put out has been like other people have worked on and done the artwork for. So I did everything on it, from like writing it to the artwork to designing the book to the lettering, everything, right? So, now anything else is I'm going to get other people to work on. So thank you. That's me for today. I'm going to cut these up and put out short clip videos. But one of the things I don't like doing is recording things and then airing it. I'd rather do it fresh, like live to you guys. So I'm not retaping stuff, so it's just coming out clear. So even when we do the clips, I try to keep it very minimal, and editing is just like clip pieces, because I think you get to see what I say, not what I'm changing around. So for today, thank you so much. Please check out, you can, for the Kindle, check it out if you want. If you want the full versions of the comic book, and print afterwards, right? If you want to try the digital and like it, please recommend it to other people. Or if you want the print version, you can get directly to Rising Sun Comics, risingsunpublishing.com shop, right? And you can under, basically it goes at RSCNZ, right? So please check it out. And that's all for me today. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go get ready, pop down to town, get my new Batman chair and put it together. I might make a video of that as well. Stream that today, but we'll see how it goes. Ka kite anō. Please share my video out, all the clips we got there, especially the pop plunge. I love interviewing people. I love talking to people about their journey in life. And hopefully you get something out of those plunge pops. We're setting up for a couple more coming up this month. But this Friday night, we do the Kiwis and comic books. And then on Sunday, which becomes Thursday night in the US and Northern Hemisphere, and Friday in the Northern Hemisphere, is the toys and toys collecting and unboxing, right, show. So we've got 2 more live streams coming up, and of course I have them with guests and co-hosts and so on. But thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment, whatever you want me to talk about. Let me know. I'm happy to take a look at it, and we'll see where we go. Ka kite anō. Have a good one. Have a good week, guys. See you on Friday, or I should say, see you on social media.